In this lesson, we're going to talk about the basics of banking, and at first we want you to understand the benefits of using banks and understand how to calculate simple interest. We'll probably cover the other ones a little bit later, but either way, this is what we're going to learn here. In lesson 1.1, we talked about your paycheck and what you're going to do with it. You're going to cash it and just keep the cash in your wallet and spend away, or you're going to cash it and hide the money in your house. Some people are paranoid and don't like banks, don't trust banks, and want to put it in their house, but you got to understand the risks of that. Or would you deposit it at a bank? To cash it, some people go to check cashing places here. I think you should be careful about that because there's a reason that these types of places are seldom in a good part of town. They're usually in very risky areas because people are desperate for cash there. All right. Some people, like we said, want to hide it under their mattress, keep it at the house, but you got to understand that it's not earning any interest in those cases. And if you turn it into cash, you're likely to spend it. So do what most people do. They deposit it in a bank, and especially wealthy people, successful people, they put it in a bank. So follow that model. The reason for that is because banks provide so many good things, right? Safety and reliability. They're convenient to use. They give you financial services, which can be incredibly valuable about your financial being well long term. And they give you options to grow your money. Okay, so safe and reliable, right? Understand that if you were to cash out your paycheck and carry whether it was hundreds or thousands of dollars, whatever, it can be stolen and it can be lost. It does happen. If you put money in the bank, though, it's going to earn interest. It's going to grow. Interest rates aren't real high right now, but it will earn some interest, and everybody would like to see their money grow. All right. If it doesn't grow, your cash is going to have less buying power due to inflation. Prices go up, and so if you just let the money sit at home, it's not going to have as much buying power. 100 bucks won't buy 2 years from now. It won't buy what it bought today. Okay. Notice here's some inflation rates. Look at our average hourly wage. Yeah, it's going up with time from 1978 all the way out to 2011 here, but it's not going up very quickly, right? Consumer prices went up faster, just slightly faster than wages. Housing prices went up quite a bit in the early 2000s, and then the bubble kind of burst and they came back down. But look at college prices. My gosh, these things went up a ton. So be careful. You want to earn money. We hope somebody's saving for college, and we hope that you are going to college and getting a decent job where you can pay off those expensive college costs. Understand that cash you put in the bank is insured, right? If it's a federally insured bank or credit union, it guarantees the safety of your money up to $250,000. It's insured by Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and it's up to $250,000 per bank. So what that means is if you had more than that, you could put 250 grand in each of two banks and they'd both be insured. 250K at one bank, 250K at the other bank. All right, because if people had a run on the banks, like in the Great Depression, everybody got scared and everybody went to the bank and wanted their money out, you may not have it all at the bank. They take the money and go out and invest it with others, but you are guaranteed for that money through the federal government. Okay? So conveniences of banks. Obviously, you can use their ATMs to get cash or deposit cash or checks when you need it. You can write checks, and hopefully they'll give you a low cost or a free checking account for those occasions when you do need to write a check and put it in the mail or drop it off with somebody. They give you debit cards. They'll also give you credit cards in many cases if that's what you want. All right. You can do remote banking by phone or online. More people are doing that now than ever. Make sure you do it securely. You'll find out about that in a later lesson. One of the best things about banks is you can have your paycheck direct deposited, and you're less likely to spend the money quickly when you don't have that cash in your hands, burning a hole in your pocket, as they say. And of course, you can get bank statements, either paper ones. A lot of banks charge for that now to pay for the paper and the envelopes, but you can check your bank statements online and see where your money's going. Okay, so all these conveniences are reasons to use banks. All right. One of the best things is you can get service and advice. If you're not sure how to invest or where to put your money, they will give you advice. It's not just savings and checkings accounts, but you can invest in certificates of deposit. You can invest in money market funds and make slightly better rates. Again, interest rates are low, but getting some interest on your money is better than getting none. Banks will give you all kinds of different loans. Car loans, sometimes student loans, home loans are a big business for banks, and they will give you those loans at competitive rates, but you can shop them around. The interest rate at which you borrow money is a big, big deal because if you can get great rates for a home or a car, whatever it is you're trying to buy, it makes a huge difference in the payments you make. Obviously, they can give you credit cards. They can give you checkbooks if you have to write checks, but make sure you ask the bank for free checking. They don't all offer it, but you should shop these banks around and look for the best best deals with the lowest fees or no fees. So do shop around your banks. Obviously, the online pieces is something you want, and the bank statements are something you want to check. All right. Very important. You want to build a good credit rating. We'll talk more about that in a later lesson, but this allows you to borrow money, right? If you want a car loan, or you want a student loan, or you wanted to buy a home someday, you want to establish good credit, because good credit means you're going to get lower interest rates that you have to pay, right? You want the low rates when you're borrowing money. You'd like the higher interest rates when you're earning money, when you're depositing money, okay? So when you borrow money, good credit will get you low rates. Bad credit, you'll either pay a higher rate or you won't be able to borrow money at all. Well, how do you get bad credit? By not paying. If you can't pay back your student loans, or you didn't make payments on your car loans in a timely fashion, you might get a bad credit rating. All right? So sometimes you'll just be flat out denied if you have bad credit. And the ability to borrow money is a great, great way to finance things in the future. And that's how you can really change your situation financially. All right. Obviously, we want our money to grow, so your money can earn interest only if you have some money to deposit. You want to minimize the impact of inflation. We talked earlier about that, because as prices go up and your dollar amount stays the same, your $100 won't buy the same thing 5 years from now that it buys today. All right. So we'd like our money to grow. You want to establish credit. You don't want your money to shrink. And so there's a lot of reasons for this by depositing money in banks. One of the main objectives of this lesson was to understand interest, right? You get money from the bank because they get to take your money and go invest it at a higher interest rate, whether they loan it out to somebody for their car loan, whether they loan it out for a home loan, or to a small business. So you get money for your interest, for the money you've given them. How do you calculate it? The interest earned is the principal dollar amount that you've deposited times the interest rate they're giving you times the time it's deposited in that account. So if I had $300 deposited in an account at 4% interest per year, how much would it earn? Well, I just go 300 times 4% times 1 year. All right, there's two ways to look at this. You can plug the numbers into your calculator. 300, I would put in 0.04, that's the decimal equivalent of 4%. So 300 times 0.04 times 1 would give you $12. Another way to think about it is, well, what's 1% of 300? Move the decimal twice and you get $3 is 1% of 300. If $3 is 1%, then what's 4%? Well, 4 times 3, $12 per year. And we said 1 year, so you get $12 is your answer. Okay, that's how interest is calculated. Let's practice a little bit here. If I had $500 deposited in an account, it's called my principal, and I was getting 3% per year, how much would it earn in a year? Well, I could do it by, in my head, 1% would be $5. $5 per year. If it's 1%, then 3% would be $15 in a year. That's one way of doing it. Or I could just put the formula, principal times interest times time, 500. Remember the 3% as a decimal would be 0.03. So 500 times 0.03 is 15. All right. What if it was only 6 months? Well, you'd plug in a half here. Half a year. 6 months is a half a year. You go 500 times 0.03 times 1/2, you get 750. It's got to be half of that, right? What if you had $1,000 at 2%? Well, same thing, right? 1% of 1,000 would be $10. I moved the decimal 2 places. I got $10. $10 times 2% would be $20. Okay, 3 years would be $60. Or you could just plug it into the formula. Principal is 1,000. Interest rate of 2% is 0.02 times 3. Get your calculator out and you'll get $60. Okay, hope that helps. All right. The beauty about earning interest is the power of compounding. If you earn a little bit of interest in the early years of your investments, then you're going to make interest upon the interest. Okay, so it's kind of like playing with house money. The bank has paid you some interest in the early years, and then you get interest on the interest. Because when they calculate the interest, they don't just calculate it on the original amount, the $100 you deposited. They calculate it on $102 or $103, whatever it is here. Okay, so understand the power of compounding. It's so powerful, there's a rule that is used to govern how long it takes to double your money. Okay, so take 72 divided by the interest rate you would earn. Okay, if I got 8% per year, 72 divided by 8 is 9. It would take me 9 years at 8% to double your money, whether you had $100 or $100 million. Okay, Use the rule differently here. If I can only earn 6%, okay, and you're not going to get 8 and 6% from a savings or a checking account. You might get those from a stock market or mutual fund investments if they're carefully invested and all that. But at 6%, 72 divided by 6 is 12 years. And so even in 12 years, that's a long time, but you could double your money. We'd all like to double our money, but look at this, right? If I had $100 and I did nothing with it, right? Over 20 years, it'd still be $100, and prices would have gone up. My $100 won't buy in 10 years or 15 years or 20 years what it bought when I first earned the $100. If I could earn 8% in 9 years, it would double to 200. Well, that's a long time. $100 ain't much. But maybe later in your life, this is $100,000. Maybe it's $1,000,000. Who knows? Okay. But the next time it doubles after 18 years, notice the difference from 100 to 200. That's $100 difference. Now it's $200 difference. If I went another 9 years, it'd be $400 that I earned. It would go up to $800. So notice this curve is getting steeper quickly. That's the power of compounding. You can only get the really steep part of this curve by investing early or by saving early. So this is one of the most powerful messages I can give young people. Start saving early, start investing early, no matter what the interest rate is. Just start saving money early and let it ride over the course of your lifetime. It will set aside a significant amount of money for you to where you can earn a tremendous amount of money for retirement or for things you want to buy later in life. The power of compounding is one of the most valuable things we could teach you at a young age. Understand that as prices rise, they go up about 2.5% per year, okay? From 99 to 2011 or so, this is what the inflation looked like for the consumer price index. Notice there's a couple few blips in there. It went down slightly here in the Great Recession, but overall it's a pretty straight line. 2.5% per year is actually the average inflation rate according to the U.S. Consumer Price Index. What does this mean? It means if you're not making 2.5% interest on your money, it's actually decreasing in value or in buying power. So put your money in the bank, let it earn interest, even if it's a small amount like 1% or so. It's better than just not earning anything. There's a video at the end of this lesson about inflation and understanding it. I suggest you watch it, but please make sure you let your money grow, save money, put it in the bank to earn interest.